Have you ever felt in life like nothing you're doing is working? Like no matter how hard you try, things just ain't clicking. You're praying for a breakthrough, man. You're trying to get some clarity. You know, you're wrestling, you're thinking, you're praying, you're talking to people, and it just feels like things aren't working. It feels like things are broken. It feels like, you know, you're just frustrated because things aren't moving smoothly like they're supposed to. Now, let me start this off with saying this. I do believe that there are certain questions we as believers, man, as followers of God should always be asking. No matter what we're going through in life, where we're at, how good or bad things are, I think that there are certain things that we should always be asking the Lord. For example, we should always be asking the Lord, what would you have me do? Right? No matter what situation we're in, no matter what we're doing with our lives, we always need to be asking that question. Lord, what would you have me do? Because the thing about God is, man, is He's in a relationship with us. We partner with Him and His working and the things that He's doing to build the kingdom here on the earth. So if He's already got an agenda, He may give us one instruction, and if we don't ask Him again, we may not get the next instruction. So I think one of the most common mistakes that people make is a lot of times they'll get one instruction from God and then they'll just go on their way and completely forget about it. Which in one sense, it's good, you know, that you're focused and that you got that direction and you're about to go. But along the way, we need to stop and ask the Lord, man, what would you have me do? Now, another question that I believe that we need to ask that is probably not so popular is this question. Lord, how are you pruning me? Now, for most of us, we're very familiar with the concept of pruning. It's taken out of John chapter 15, and it talks about the vine dresser and the vine, Christ being the vine, us being the branches connected to the vine, not being able to do nothing without the vine, right? And it also references pruning. And you'll hear it a lot of times come up in messages. Pruning, it's God's way of disciplining us. It's God's way of getting us and cutting things off of us. Pruning, it hurts and all of this kind of stuff. And I agree that there's definitely an aspect of that where pruning hurts and it's difficult and it can feel like punishment or discipline a lot of times. But I want to show you this scripture out of John 15 that really spoke to me and challenged me and really is the basis for this video right here. So let me just start at the beginning. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, He takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. So listen, every branch that doesn't bear fruit, He takes it away. But every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes. So why is that important? Let's talk about fruit for a minute. What is fruit? What is the symbolism of the fruit? Well, we know, like in Corinthians, the fruit of the Spirit, right? We know that there are fruits that we bear as a byproduct of our relationship to Christ. It's just us being connected to the vine. It is a natural occurrence of a Christian's life who is connected to the vine. They will bear fruit. It's a promise, and it's just a natural phenomenon within the life of a disciple. You will bear fruit, and that's something that you need to look at too. Man, am I bearing fruit? Like if you have no fruit in your life, or you're not bearing fruit in your life, that should be a good indication to you. Hold on a second, maybe I'm not connected to the vine. But that's another thing for another time. What I want to point out here is that the goal of the Christian life is to bear fruit. That's what we're all trying to do, because that shows who we're connected to. Fruit, man, winning souls and seeing, you know, building God's kingdom and spreading everything, the Spirit of God all over this earth, all throughout our lives, being an example, a representation, a light placed on a hill, so forth and so forth. We are called to be fruit bearers, okay? So fruit is a good thing. That's what we're in this thing for. We bear fruit. So listen to that passage. Everybody who does not bear fruit, who does not demonstrate that connection to the vine, they get taken away. But everybody who does bear fruit, who does demonstrate that relationship to God, what do they get? They get pruned. Interesting. They get pruned. So let's kind of look at this a different way. Is it true that pruning is discipline? Is it true that the act of pruning really is something that maybe you're doing wrong, or that, God's disciplining you for? According to this passage, I don't see that. Now, listen, I know it feels like it, right? It may feel like, dang, I'm doing something wrong. But let me challenge you in this. Maybe you're being pruned in an area and you're feeling and experiencing the discomfort because God is trying to get you to bear more fruit. If you're already bearing fruit and the Lord is trying to get more fruit into your life, then according to this passage, He's going to prune you. And we all know that pruning doesn't feel good. So one of the questions that I think we all should be asking, especially when we're feeling like we're in difficult times, is, Lord, how are you pruning me? What are the areas that you're trying to increase the fruit in my life? Is it patience? Is He trying to, cultivate long suffering? The ability to suffer long with somebody or a certain circumstance? Is he developing within you a witness, a testimony? Right? We know in Revelations where it says that we've overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. The testimony is a powerful thing. So maybe He's cultivating within you a testimony. We don't think about that kind of stuff. We think about testimony as an afterthought. Like, what if God is allowing us to go through certain things? He's pruning us through certain things so that we can come out on the other side and then be a voice to those who are going through those things. I mean, it's a different way to look at it. We look at a testimony as like, man, look at how I barely made it out. Look at how I barely survived. This is my testimony, how God came down and miraculously swooped me up, right? Which, yeah, that's a testimony. But maybe He's cultivating a testimony within you. Maybe he's giving you more patience, wisdom, right? Whatever it may be, God is always pruning us. We have to understand this, man. If you are connected to the vine and you are bearing fruit, then you are going to experience pruning, and it's gonna be quite regularly. You hear that? It's gonna be quite regularly. And listen, man, this hit me. This really stood out to me, because I think for many of us, we have this misconception that when we're in the will of God, when we're following the Lord, that everything is just going to flow smoothly, that we're not going to experience hiccups. We're not going to have to fight extra hard. We're not going to have to dig our heels deep and take a stand. Things will just be easy. People will just listen to us. Everybody will come to the Lord. We'll be feeling the most creative and inspired. We'll deliver our most powerful messages and sermons, and all of these great things will happen, and we'll be on this supernatural high. But is that really reality? I don't think it is. And I think that if our life was like that, I consider this, that if your life was actually like that the fruit of being connected to God meant that you were always on this high, that you were always excelling, that you were always soaring above the clouds, would you really be able to relate to anybody? Would you even be relevant to the thousands and millions and billions of people on this earth who are hurting, who are waking up every single day with anxiety, fighting off thoughts of depression, thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurt, trauma? Like, what good would you be to those people? Think about that for a minute. What good would you be? What value? What? Let's put this in biblical language. What saltiness, what flavor would you be able to add to those people's lives? So here's the thing, right? Nobody likes to be pruned. It doesn't feel good. But I want to challenge you with this one thing, is one, to ask God how He's pruning you in your life. Because if you're connected to the vine, He's always going to be pruning you in some way. It's actually to bring more fruit. It's for your benefit. Okay, so get used to it. It's a good thing. But the second thing is to not look at those ways that He's pruning you and allow yourself to be discouraged by that, to allow yourself to be brought down by that. Because the enemy would love nothing more than to take what the Lord is trying to do in your life, to encourage you, to grow you, to prosper you, and to turn that around and to suffocate you and to oppress you. That's exactly what he would want to do in your life. And so I want to encourage you today. Maybe you're going through a situation or struggle. Maybe something's not quite working out. You don't have the answers. You don't have the clarity. Things are frustrating. You know what I mean? People are attacking you for no reason. You know, you're feeling these thoughts and you just don't know why you're feeling these certain things. I would challenge you, man, to stop and ask, man, Lord, how are you pruning me? How are you pruning me in these scenarios, in this situation? What are you doing to prune me right now? And let me pay attention to that, because when we pay attention to that, man, according to this word, we're going to flourish, man. We're going to grow. So listen, it's a setup. It's a setup. It's actually the Lord co-signing on your life, saying, you're a good and faithful servant. And listen, I'm going to prune you because I'm going to get you some more. So listen, I hope that blesses you. I hope that encourages you. Let me know in the comments below. I know we all feel it. We all feel the pruning. We all do, especially with those of us connected to the vine, right? Just like it says, we're connected to the vine. We're bearing fruit. God's trying to get you to bear more fruit. Be encouraged. Hang in there. Remember Ephesians 2:10, man, you were created to do good work. Until next time.